Hello everyone, my name is Loco and welcome to another StarCraft 2 video. Now today I'm going to be answering the age-old question, how do you defend against cannon rushes? Because sadly there is not really an easy answer to it. I mean, if there would have been an easy answer, everyone would be aware of it, but I get this question a lot. So in this specific game, I have basically the worst case scenario where I go for a hatchery first and my opponent opens up with a blind cannon rush. Now there's a lot to say about the execution of my opponent, I'm not really going to be hammering on that, but just to give you an indication of his skill level, I've been ranking up this account some more, and this guy was somewhere around the high diamond regions if I'm not mistaken. At the very least he was in Diamond League. So by no means am I playing versus a bad player in this specific game. Now, cannon rushes are obviously very frustrating because what happens, for anyone wondering if you're not aware what a cannon rush is, basically they put down like a pylon right here, then they try and put some cannons behind it, and they nuke down your natural, and all of a sudden you are very far behind because they can safely expand and Zerglings can't leave because that's like a cannon, you know, shielding away at your ramp as well. Like a lot of you will have felt this feeling at some point. Now the very first step to actually being aware or being, you know, in the knowledge on how to defend the cannon rush is to actually scout the cannon rush, okay? Like if you don't see the cannons until the the cannons are already finished or they're about to finish up, you're going to be much too late. So there's one very important rule in it: you need to scout it early enough. Now I don't know exactly in this specific game how I ended up scouting it, but obviously there's ways to do so. I can put my very first or my second overlord, for example, the very first one that I create, in the natural, so you know I can basically shield it for my natural expansion right there, or you can just run around with a Zergling, or run with a drone rudder, or you can do some early game scouting. And in this specific game, as you can see, I am opting to do a little bit of drone scouting right now, knowing that my opponent is moving in with the drone right now. Now I'm following this up, this hatchery first, with a spawning pool. And right now is basically the clue, okay? Here's what happens. So I see that my opponent puts down a probe, or sends a probe to my natural, puts down this pylon right away. Now there's a couple things to this. Obviously this could be a fake, but considering the timing on the probe, and it's pretty early, and there's really no reason for him to put down this pylon unless he really wants to scare me and try and trick me into defending it. I am going to assume that this is going to be a cannon rush, okay? Now there's a couple ways you have to approach this. So very first thing you have to do is think about the fact where he will be placing his cannon. So if you think about, or if you think as a Protoss right now, okay, let's just go to his visions just for explanation's sake. As you can see right now, his vision, the only thing he really knows is that he has two probes on the other, or on like my side of the map, I suppose you can say, and that I went for a very early hatchery. That's the only thing he really knows right now. So if you were the Protoss in this situation, where do you want to try and build your pylons? Where do you want to try and put down your cannons? Now, more often than not, you want to try and reduce the service area. So let's say there is like a cannon out in the open right around right here. I will be able to kill that easily because I can just simply surround it. So what will more often than not happen is that the cannon will be put down right next to like the gas geyser right there and the pylon, just to reduce the service area. Or maybe in this little like hook right there that is very annoying to take out as well, because I simply don't have very much room to surround. Now, that is the very first thing to realize. Now, the worst case scenario is that you allow the Protoss player to put down cannons in those locations, because then you're pretty much dead already. So the very first thing I do right here in this scenario is grab a couple of drones. I believe I grabbed like 3 right here, and put them on patrol in these locations. Okay, so that's step number 1 right now. If you go back to my vision, I'm basically selecting all of these probes and I'm putting them into the locations that are hardest to defend for me. So as you can see right here, these probes, or these drones rather, are gonna start patrolling in this area, which means that he will not be able to put his pylons down in the ideal locations. Now, since he's committed to this, since he put down the pylon and he let the pylon finish, I know for a fact that he is gonna put down cannons. Now, how do you actually kill cannons? First off, Zerglings are gonna be basically the heroes in this fight. You need to make sure that you can make Zerglings, so don't forget your spawning pool. That has happened multiple times to me before. Long story short, you need 3 drones to kill a building cannon, but if the cannon is already a little bit done, you might want to set 4 drones on it instead. So if you take a quick look right here, what happens is my opponent is going to put a pylon down right there, not the ideal location for him, and I'm going to send workers from my main base to watch the natural, because I'm going to need them. So here we go, more and more workers coming down. I don't really want to pull all of them, I do need a little bit of mining going on, but as you can see, I am trying to target fire down each cannon with about 3 to 4 workers, which I know for a fact will kill it. Now, you do need to micro very hard right here. There is no easy way of doing this. And you simply need to you know, think ahead, think ahead. Now, one other thing to keep in mind as well is that you constantly click those buildings to see what is actually building. For example, if this would have been a pylon, it is not worth my drone time killing down that pylon, because the pylon is not gonna die to 3 workers only. So only really target fire down the photon cannons, and later when the Zerglings come out, make sure you target fire down the pylons as well. So for the time being, you can see me frantically clicking between these things all the time as well, checking whether or not they're actually cannons. Now at this point, I am aware all 3 of those things are cannons, and I'm trying to figure out, oh, is that gonna be a cannon as well? Clicking on it right there. Oh yeah, it's gonna be another cannon. Now, one does finish up right there, which is a little bit unfortunate. Gonna send out another worker with that. But I'm just gonna keep making more and more, more and more drones target fire in between. Now, in the meantime, I got Zerglings on the way, okay? And that is part of the story that is crucial as well. You need to have the Zerglings down right now. Now, there is a little bit of an issue right here in this little corner. As you can see, there is not that much defense going on for this one photon cannon, and by all means, I'm not defending this perfectly either. I should be shift commanding a lot more and just being more aggressive with it all. But all in all, this is looking alright. I got my Zerglings out right now. I am making more and more. There's no need to, by the way, make drones. One clue as well to defending this is that once you usually defend this, you will be super far ahead anyway, unless you lose a lot of workers. But this guy is pretty much completely all in at this point. So just committing to making a lot of Zerglings and then counter-attack instead. And as long as I manage to kill all of this, I know for a fact that I will be fine. So I'm still attack moving with the drones right here as well. Still attack moving with the Zerglings, making sure that my opponent does not finish up any more of those cannons, and my opponent leaves the game. So there are basically 2 rules to this, okay? Well, there's actually a couple more. But the first one is to actually scout it, okay? You can do this either with an overlord or with a drone that's patrolling the natural. Second step to take is to actually put the drones on the patrol position in like the most vulnerable locations, and then to actually target fire down the workers, or the, not the workers, rather the cannons that are building, and not the pylons. While waiting for your Zerglings to come out. Now, I know this is a very short game, but hopefully it taught you at least a little bit about defending cannon rushes, because in this specific one, I believe my opponent, yeah, you could already see that he did say GG, well played, because I managed to defend this cannon rush, even though I went for a hatchery first. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button as well, so you'll be the very first one to get a notification when I upload another video. I want to thank you guys all for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, and I'll see you in the next one.